Hello everybody, a lot of breaking news over the last 12 hours, and of course I was at work, so I couldn't really report on anything, but I've read it all in its entirety, and I'll tell you, Bill Gates, the first to concede endemic, Mr. Leader of pandemic and vaccines and pushing narratives, with Joe Biden's utter defeat by SCOTUS. I'm going to explain something to people here about the UNSCP5, the ultimate authority on this earth, who are also the manufacturers of the vaccines themselves. They're the ones who fast-tracked everything, ruled it a pandemic. Well, now we're at the age of endemic, and that's where they're going. With USA, one of those P5 members, SCOTUS, has outlined the path forward in the endemic. They're taking that narrative. Unless you are a health professional, according to the U.S. Constitution, you must do no harm, which means you will continue in restrictions and isolations to protect your patients. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not strange. You have a child. We've all been there. You wear a mask in that hospital room for the birth of your child. You dress in garbs. You do all of that. I know. I was there for the birth of both my daughters, something I'll never forget. That's USA. That's one of 5 P5 members. That's where it's going. Joe Biden can't stop it. Companies can't discriminate anymore on it. This is where we are going. Now, Canada doesn't want to concede, but Canada is not a UNSCP 5 member. Justin Trudeau, Chrystia Freeland, Aaron O'Toole, Pierre Poilievre have already taken us down a most dangerous path with the recent ruling of SCOTUS and the binding agreement USMCA, the trade treaty. It's going to cost Canadian taxpayers. Already rolled all that out. But here's what Theresa Tam has now said. Oh, it's an endemic. She's blah, blah. It's going to be an endemic. Yep. Except for she's altered with the Crown some key things about that. Vaccine mandates, cross-border vaccine mandates, especially in the USMCA. She's also stating now against the recommendations of CDC on 5-day isolation, and you can go back to work wearing a mask till you feel better. She's saying the 10 days. That is not the recommendation from those who've crafted the vaccine. That is made up Crown autocracy from one Justin Trudeau, Aaron O'Toole, and Jagmeet Singh, as well as all the provincial premiers. And just so everybody knows, it's not just a Liberal thing. This is an all-party, all in love with the Crown power, the full authority over all of the third and second class. They can destroy your business if you don't play ball. They can make it so you can't work if you're third class. They will tax you to the high heavens to support their first class health care. When I say that, these are all sworn to the Crown. That's what healthcare is in Canada. All government institutions are. Everybody swears that oath. All of them. If you're a government employee, you've sworn an oath to that Crown. A lot of people need to understand, in Canada, our very old system, our federal politicians a very long time ago, 1952, when the Crown was abolished by King George VI officially, he died during Canada's transition. He didn't finish. King George VI. He had abolished the Crown for the entire Commonwealth. That's the deal he made with the United States of America and the former Soviet Union, so that they would enter the war and assist UK. I have all the letters signed, sealed, certified by President Teddy Roosevelt, by Sir Winston Churchill, by Joseph Stalin, and of course, King George VI. From 1941 onward, it was a long time before those countries got involved. It was no accident Russia went. They say Germany's biggest mistake, Hitler's biggest mistake, was dividing and going after Russia. He had no choice because the crown had forfeited, and he knew that his crown was in trouble. And for those who don't understand, I'm going to say it again. World War II was a war of colonials, constitutional monarchy systems, all of them. Russia and USA, not. They were republics outside of colonial crown autocracy, abolished in both countries. Whether or not you like communism, this is the reality. Russia, republic, the former USSR, United Soviet Socialist Republic. China's a republic too, by the way, everybody. United States of America is a republic. Not the Commonwealth countries, and not many of the former countries of World War II. Former Japan, all imperial, and they were colonial. And an emperor, king, queen, emperor, all the same thing. Same with absolutely Germany. Same with Spain, Portugal, the list goes on and on. Denmark, Austria, we can go through so many. It was Russia, USA, and then China at the end, who went against and destroyed colonial systems, and King George VI agreed to abolish it forever. So did France. They were decimated by Germany. They had no choice. UK had virtually been bombed out. They could not withstand anymore. It was that deal negotiated from 1941 all the way up to including the UN Charter that was well under its way in San Francisco before the war had ended. That was the deal made. I have all the letters. I've published them. They're on my timeline. I know no Canadians ever read this stuff. I know the crown is confusing, but you have to look at it like this. There are 3 levels of crown. The federal government in 1952, upon the death of King George VI, Liberals and Conservatives jointly made a deal. They're the ones who hold the crown. Mackenzie King, all of them did this. They kept it a secret from all other citizens of Canada. It was a secret for only those elected in federal government. They stole the crown, and many years later, United Kingdom would say, you will give us power over international law because everybody, it is illegal for the royal family, any royal family, to usurp the sovereignty of a UN state or govern a UN state directly. Queen Elizabeth II can't do that. She can't directly appoint Governor Generals in Canada. It's always on the advice and decision of the Prime Minister. He is the pure executive, or she will always be the pure executive power. This is reality, not fiction. That's fact. It's already been disclosed many, many times. But I know it's hard. I know it's hard to understand. What's happened is, along came the royal family after getting stronger again, 54 nations of the Commonwealth, and they said, listen, countries like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and many more, but those very old ones that remained using the crown power as it was originally designed before being abolished by the Allies, Russia and USA don't understand this. I'm going to be educating them in now just 5 days. You're all going to see that after they've gotten it. Top Republicans, top Democrats, absolutely the Russian government, many, many officials, including Vladimir Putin, including Joe Biden, including Linda Thomas Greenfield, including Kelly Knight Craft, including Donald J. Trump. That's reality. Vladimir Putin, all of them, all of MFA, Russia, all of it, all of them, they're all going to get it. China's going to get it. Xi Jinping, Zhang Jun, he is the official international representative of China on the world stage, the holder of the P5 power of China. They're all going to get it. Even UK and France will get it. They may not like it, but they're going to get it. I'm doing this work to absolutely strengthen the Allies and get them to finish the work that they've started a very long time ago. They've done many nations in this world. Japan, Germany, many, many nations, including South Africa, including so many more. We're seeing others come forward. Africa has been huge on it. They've used it. It's not gone well when they don't adopt international law, which is why I also have to write about regionalism. Canadians need to know this. People who talk about independence, you need to know this. You need to know why Russia does what it does. Americans need to know that. And that is my great gift to the world, the work I'm doing. I hope it takes off, but even if it doesn't, it's not about being popular or how many people read it, but it's absolutely imperative that it goes to the heads of Russia, the heads of the United States, which is the multi-parties, Democrats and Republicans. And I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that. And that is what's important. Strengthening the Allies, bringing them back to where they're supposed to be in this world, and absolutely destroying the NWO, which is Canada. Canada's at least the third biggest leader of it. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It's not Bill Gates and all these other billionaires. Do they love money? Do they love power? Will they use weak, corrupt countries to gain a foothold, to expand their wealth? Sure. But we are watching Bill Gates change his whole narrative. And why is that? Because he doesn't have the power of Joe Biden anymore. Many of them are afraid because the P5, the UNSC P5, can execute all threats, foreign or domestic. This isn't just constitutional of the United States of America. The death penalty belongs to the United States of America, Russia, China, UK, and France to use as often as they deem necessary. The entire world voted for this with the ratification of the UN Charter 1945. We can never get out of it unless you wish to lose nation status. And if you ever want to know what happens to a nation that gives up UN nation status, I can show you the most recent example: Cyprus and Turkey. Turkey just took a city again from Greece. There are people alive today, folks, that have not been home to their properties in 30 years because there's a fence built around it by the P5. That was their ruling. After Cyprus refused to join the UN, no problem. You don't get the protections, meaning any country can take you out, do and have their way with you. And the UNSC P5 will put their hands in the air and say, sorry, we can't help you. You chose your path. We gave you a chance. A lot of people don't know international law, not as it really is. That's because of your local and federal, which is provincial, regional, and federal governments, specifically federal. But regional governments are often very, very ignorant of this stuff. They want to go for independence like countries like Ukraine, and they become so corrupt, so grossly in violation of international law and human rights, they're not even comparable to other nations. We should not be involved in Ukraine and Russia, not whatsoever. Your crown autocrats, all parties, pushed heavy by Aaron O'Toole. He would do the same thing with China in his deluded pea-brain world. Both those countries would make mincemeat out of Canada. And if USA can strike a deal as a UNSC P5 member in a private chamber with those UNSC P5 members, Canada is first on the chopping block. You should know this, Canadians. And for those regional speakers who think they know how the world works, you don't. And Russia has had to remold since Gorbachev. Putin's had to do that to protect his people, protect his regions. And I'm going to go through that. It's all going to be written and articulated well in plain speak with all the legal speak references for the high minds. But it's going to be written for just average everyday folks, including the UNSCP 5 leaders, especially Russia and the United States of America. And again, that's both Republicans and Democrats. It's important to strengthen Russia, strengthen USA. They have a monumental amount of work to do in this world that they agreed and have accepted to be tasked with. They've done a fantastic job all the way up, even in recent time, but it's getting less and less. And there is a $12 trillion war that I am sorry, but Canada is a large part of that is trying to destroy that. We just saw with Joe Biden and his choices he made to go with countries like that. This is my video tonight. Share, share, share. A lot has been disclosed here. Very important. Get it out there. Learn the autocracy. Learn that we the people can't break that system. No lawyer is going to help you change the system. Look how Canada consistently changes narrative. That's the ramblings of an ultimate centralist leader. And who is that currently? That's none other than Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada. He holds all the cards. Ultimately, he can change courts to rule in his favor or make any kind of remedy in his favor. And now they're trying to negotiate a 10-day isolation period. No. Canada is extremely broken, extremely corrupt, not unlike many other nations. Thanks. That's my video. Bye, everybody.